Hi, this is Lora Zmak
and Lisa Norton.
and we're with the Material Girlfriends. And today we have a tutorial on Block C called the Old Maid's Puzzle for our Quilters Color Therapy Sew Along.
So Block C is this one right here. It's also this one right here. It's this one right here. And it's this one right here.
So let's master this one so that we have all 4 blocks looking absolutely fabulous. So you're going to find that on page 30 of your book, the instructions for everything that you need to cut out. And we're going to first make this unit. So in order to make this unit, our first task is to make half square triangles. So to make our half square triangles, we have our black square and our toffee square. Now on my black square, I'm going to draw lines on this. Now, my sister likes to use her ruler and she just draws one diagonal line from edge to edge, and then she sews 1/4 of an inch on each side. I actually prefer to line up my center line. I'll draw on both sides of my triangle, and I'm going to sew on both of these lines. So once I put my square right on top of my toffee square, I'm ready to add my pins. I'll take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew right on both of those lines, and I'm going to get this unit right here. So I've sewn on those lines. Now I'm going to cut right on the diagonal, and as I cut right on the diagonal, now I have 2 half square triangles. So my half square triangles, and I'm going to press to the dark. So I'll ask Lisa to take this to the ironing board, and she's going to press those to the dark. So I'm going to have 2 half square units. One I'm going to have for one half of the block, and the other I'm going to use for the other half of the block. So these are our 2 units that we're making right now. So once Lisa has those pressed, these will measure 3.5 inches finished. So now I'm ready to do my second step. So my second step is to bring my my triangles here, and I'm going to sew them on. Well, I'm going to turn this so it looks like the image in your book so that it's a little easier for you to follow. So I have this triangle, then I have this triangle, and we're going to sew those on. As we sew them on, I'm going to align this right here on this edge, and I'm going to sew on that straight line right here.
Do you want me to cut off your dog ears for you?
Sure.
I'm going to cut it off this one first, and then I'll take that one. Here. You take that one, and I'll trim this one next.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and align this piece here. I'm going to put my pins in it, and then I'll take it to the sewing table. Okay. All right, now that I have that sewn, I'm going to go ahead and have Lisa press that for us.
There you go.
There's that one piece here. Now I'm ready to sew this other piece on. And actually, let me pull this up here so you can see. This is the portion that we're making. So now I'm going to sew this other piece on. I'm going to align from this end, and then it's going to hang over on this side. I'll take my pins. I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Now this part's important because you'll want to pin this mostly because once I turn around and go to the sewing machine, I'll start sewing on this side. So really, I put my pins in not only to hold it, but to remind me what piece I'm actually sewing on. All right, Lisa pressed it and trimmed the dog ears for me, and it is looking awesome. Quite pleased with it. So now I'm going to take my big yellow triangle. I'm going to align my corners and edges very carefully. Add my pins. And while I'm sewing this one, I want to be very aware of where this intersection is. So I'm going to be aligning, and I'm going to sew it from this side so that my needle can come right at that intersection. All right, once again, Lisa pressed it for me, and it is looking super. I'm going to trim off these little dog ears as well. And I have my 2 units done and ready to be sewn into my block. Now we have the other unit we're going to work on. Our other unit looks just like this one. Well, we're going to take our half square triangles and we're going to do exactly like we did with the first portion of this unit. And I'm going to sew those together to where I have new half square triangles. Once I sew those 2 little and press those little butterflies together, I'm just going to take my square and sew that together.
Now, alignment tips. When you're sewing this one together, remember to ask yourself, what's the point? You're going to want to remember the point's on down this direction. So when you're lining your pieces up, line at the point, put a pin in it, and if it's slightly long or short at this end, it's not going to matter. On this section, your point's right here, so you're going to align it at your point and sew down. Of course, you're always going to want to press your pieces and trim off the dog ears before you sew your pieces together. All right, thank you. We'll see you at the next video.